Please welcome Joe Cocker. Welcome home.
Cheers now. Great.
Did you ever sing with... have you ever sung with Ray Charles, Joe?
I did, actually. They did a special on him in the States, and we got to do a duet on You Are So Beautiful, which was very special. You can imagine my heart was thumping away.
Why was it special? I mean, we read in things about you that from the age, when you first heard him at the age of 14, suddenly you became Ray Charles.
An addict to him, really. He is my mentor, no doubt. But it was very strange, you know, because he did for You Are So Beautiful, I got a sort of set routine, but he slowed it down, you know, almost to, you know what he's like when he does that stuff around the piano. And so it was quite hairy, just trying to sing it in the same area. Right. Yes. Beautiful man.
But he's recorded so many albums with everyone, including Willie Nelson, but not yourself yet. You haven't actually been in the recording studio.
I was thinking the other day, you know, he's never done a Christmas album, right?
Joe Cocker sings Christmas?
Well, maybe I could produce one for him, you know.
We can understand why someone like Elvis, who comes out of Mississippi, got that tag with lots of black people around, got the tag of being the white boy who sang black music, sang like a black man.
Yeah.
But out of Sheffield, a white kid out of Sheffield, I mean, where did this black tag?
Well, it's pretty, you know, it's a pretty rugged steel town. I mean, I see now out of Glasgow there are a lot of bands emerging because of, you know, unemployment and stuff, maybe. But at that time, most like the Rolling Stones, say in London, we were all trying to trace the roots of pop music, basically, rock and roll. And so we ended up finding people like Chuck Berry and Howlin' Wolf, all the great blues singers. And I started doing it till it sort of became second nature to sing in that vein.
Does it surprise you, or did it surprise you as much as it does us? I just read that accolade that Ray Charles gave you as being the only true disciple. Were you obviously flattered, but were you surprised that he
Yes, man, obviously, you know. I'm saying each time I meet him, he's a very warm guy. But, you know, he's like a father sort of figure to me. Yeah.
Was the voice always the way it is now, the huskiness, or was it the result of one or two late nights?
A few of those, and smoking a pack of cigarettes a day didn't help. We just did this first show in Brisbane, and I realised I got to cool my smoking a bit. But, you know, I think also that, you know, the style of singing, it's not necessarily to do with that, because I did quit one time like a fool for 6 months and then started.
Quit smoking, not singing?
Yeah. For 6 months and then started, but I still had that husky sound in my voice anyway.
Did you have it when you called yourself at the age of 17, when you called yourself Vance Arnold and the Cavaliers? Vance Arnold.
I used to tell everyone that someone else gave me that name, but actually I made it up myself, you know. It was, I remember Elvis in one of his early films calling himself Vance, right? So it was just, you know, we all had names like that. Actually, it was Vance Arnold and the Avengers.
The Avengers, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. But it sounds like Crash Craddock. It sounds like one of those names that an up-and-coming singer would try and... But here you were, an Englishman trying to sound like an American.
Well, at that time, everyone, you know, Cliff Richard and the Shadows, of course, were dominating. Everyone was doing the leg movements and all that stuff. And we wanted to be more R&B, but if you wanted to get any dates, you had to sort of throw in the young ones somewhere down the line, you know, which never quite suited my style.
I can't imagine. The first tour that you did, the first American tour netted you $682. The first record, I think, got you $1.21.
Something like. Well, we're glad to just make a mark at that time.
Why did you hang on? Or hang in there. I guess the incentive would have been to go back to being a gas fitter and give all this nonsense away.
That's what my dad wanted me to do. You know, he said, "You've had your shot. You know, get back to doing a regular job." But I think my mother knew that, you know, that I would never stop till I sort of made some dent. Right.
What was the motivation, though, Joe? Once you'd done it, I mean, was it really that smell of the grease paint? Had you had the roar of the crowds? Did you really find it addictive?
It was first-rate tour in the USA because, you know, I mean, if I'd have just hung around England, even we'd had a couple of hits there. But even so, I never felt there was a lot for me to do. But once we broke through in the States, I mean, it was like such a whole. I mean, it felt great to be able to reach such a big audience. And because now I've sort of concentrated on touring all over the world.
Yes.
So even without a hit, I've got some friends in parts of the world who come and see me, you know.
Well, you had more than one hit, but What surprises me is that if you said that, if it's addictive, once you've gone into that rock and roll circuit, as so often people say that it does become addictive in terms of the roar of the crowd and so on, and getting up there and performing.
Yeah.
Yet of all performers, you really appear to be so often in a dream of your own. You're doing it for yourself so often. Obviously, if you're doing it for the crowds, but you
Yeah.
appear to be on your own up there.
Well, it's like anything else, I'm very self-critical. So when I get up there, I concentrate, on what I'm doing. I still get old people always asking me why I'm waving my arms about and things, but that's pretty subconscious to me. I just try and concentrate on getting things almost like an opera singer. I know it's a bit of an insult to opera singers, but I have a breathing technique and everything I have to get into. So I do sometimes get lost in my own little world up there.
I was going to say that. I mean, are you conscious of 20,000 people out there?
Yes, but I'm trying really to convey the emotion, and But I've been doing it a long time, so I can deal with small audiences and pretty large audiences too.
And the reports in the 70s there of your suicide and your death were exaggerated?
I hope so. I'm going to say a few of those been around, eh?
Well, you now see, coming back this time, of course, you had hits, as I said, in the 60s and then the 70s and now the 80s. Are you seeing the children of the old original fans at the shows?
That's right. That's quite surprising, especially like, we just did Germany and Italy earlier this year. And I get all these like little 16-year-old girls coming up and talking to me and quoting, stuff from Mad Dogs and Englishmen, and they tell me they just, through growing up with their folks, they've followed through, which again is very flattering.
Does it make you feel like a granddad?
I have to watch it. I'm still a randy old man underneath. So.
We've got a clip here of Joe in action from some of those tours. Have a look at this and we'll come back and talk. Now, I noticed when that first record came up there, the first clip came up, your legs started to move.
Oh, yes.
Are they out of control?
I'm going to say, but my girlfriend's always doing that. I've always got the St. Vitus dance going. And she'll stop that one and this one will start her. Just nervous energy. Right.
Joe, how would you describe your singing?
I don't know, just basically soul. I'm a soul kind of singer, or blues flavored. All my material is pretty blues flavored,
Do you have a good voice?
My own opinion, I don't have a good range, but I sort of have a little gimmicks, or well, not gimmicks, but I have little ways of, getting in and out of things. That's studious look. So.
No, I'm just curious because you mentioned breathing and so on earlier. I just wonder whether, in fact, you have practiced breathing, whether you have practiced timing, whether it really is all just natural.
I certainly don't. Maybe I should. That's why I love so many black singers who, when they're not singing on stage, go to church or whatever, so they're still using their voice. But usually when I'm off at home, I don't sing. I hardly ever open my mouth, which surprises people around me.
Your tonsils are probably glad of that.
Yeah, give them a rest. Yeah.
What about, I mentioned earlier as well, that I love songs. It seems to me that while you have the image of being the hellraiser and the rocker, that it's love songs that probably endear you most.
I do love ballads, and it gets harder these days to sort of be compatible or whatever with the record company. I forget the word I'm looking for, but, it's sort of, I would put like 5 or 6 ballads on quite a lot of my albums, but, they always want me to do a few more rockers. So a lot of good songs tend to get shelved, I'm afraid.
Are you a romantic?
God, never quite a romantic one. You got me taking the nerve. No.
I just wondered.
Maybe when I get into the lyric a little, But most of my ballads are pretty sad songs. They're not necessarily romantic,
Your new album, which is simply called Cocker, what else, is dedicated, I noticed, to Marjorie Madge Cocker. Is that your mum?
She died, man. Well, just as I started doing the album, and she was just about 80 years old, and I did love her very much. So that's not much to do, put a dedication on there, but I'm sure she would have dug it if she'd have heard it.
It isn't much at all to do, as you say. You've mentioned in the past in other interviews you've done, in newspapers I've read, where the family were very important to you, your mum and dad. What did your mum think through those hell-raising days when it was sex, drugs, rock and roll for Joe? What did she ever say to you?
Well, she was never one to put me down for whatever I did. But when I used to go home, I could see she obviously was a little distressed when I was, sort of out of it. But
did she ever see you out of it?
I think so, yeah, on a few occasions.
Once or twice. And what turned you around? I mean, you're looking, as everyone, all the newspapers have said for the last couple of days you've been here, that you're looking in great shape. Was it the death of people like John Belushi and others whom you'd known?
That's always there, isn't it? It's always a shock when you hear that stuff. But no, I just got to that point where you realise there's, like getting high, you've always got to come back to some natural state, right? And so it just got almost to be a bore to be, I mean, anyone who's drunk heavily knows, like when you wake up at 9 and sort of have a double whiskey to start the day, you might as well forget your day, you know. So I mean, I ended up, just feeling a mess, and I've had a lot, like my manager and my band, have been with me for quite a while, and they sort of helped steer me back into taking pride in just doing the job right,
But you're not totally on the wagon.
No. I mean, we're at the old, can I mention the townhouse?
Sure.
It's one of my favourite watering holes, so I can't resist going in there for a couple, but I'm not crazy with it these days.
You're not, all right. What about, you said, without music there isn't much left of me. Without it, I'm a lost soul. What would you do without music?
I don't know. I mean, of late I just bought this house in Santa Barbara, California, which is very beautiful. And I've got a full-time gardener there, but I've been, learning a few tricks it's rather relaxing to go out in the back, and just put music aside for a bit and just get close to the earth.
I read, that your pastimes are gardening and walking in the bush. I thought it was a send-up. I thought you were sending someone up.
No, I'm even going to get a llama for Christmas. How about that?
A llama?
Yes.
What,
they're big, those things with the long necks in the Himalayas. But you can put like a pack on them, about 80 pounds, rather than a mule, so I might start breeding llamas, you never know.
Well, there could be shots of Joe Cocker in the mountains around California on the back of a llama.
I don't know about on the back of one, because they spit, I hear.
Joe, great to talk to you. Well, thank you very much indeed. You can catch Joe, just some quick tour dates, tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday nights at the Sydney Entertainment Centre. I think there are a few seats left, but only a few. Then Canberra's Bruce Stadium, Adelaide Entertainment Centre, Melbourne Entertainment Centre, Launceston, Perth. Catch the newspapers to find when you can catch Joe Cocker. You should not miss him. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please thank you. I hope you enjoy Australia. Yeah. After the break, the permanently pink cosmetic queen, Mary Kay. Back in a moment.